Mobley, come here. I don't know what's with her. Miss Mobley, my other cat. I mean, everybody sees Trouble because he's such an attention hound. Miss Mobley is a lot more, I shouldn't say shy, reserved. That's a good word, yeah, because she always tries to get attention. The thing is that whenever I try to pet her or pick her up, she moves away. Then she doesn't run away. She just comes right back up and asks for more attention. All right. Anyway, here we go. Hi there. Welcome once again, everybody, to what we call Cast Iron Wednesday here on YouTube. A lot of cooking channels, they've had something of a tradition going where on Wednesday they do cast iron videos. And so as a result, here we've been doing this for more than a year on this channel. And I very much appreciate everybody who shows up to say hi. As William Hurt points out, it seems like one of the persons who's been here on this channel, Cooking with Bobby Joe, it seems like she just today, maybe a couple of hours or so, she released a video of a pizza cooked in her BSR number 14 cast iron skillet that she won in the giveaway here. So go and check out her channel, Cooking with Bobby Joe, and you will see it yourself. So I'm glad that thing arrived in one piece. But well, yeah, I mean, what else can I say? I mean, yeah, after all, we're going to be doing a little bit more about cast iron tonight because I know we've been doing a lot of cooking on these lives, and that's been a lot of fun. But then again, we've got a chore to do tonight because, well, we are getting into the winter and getting into the holidays, namely that I've got some pieces of cast iron in the lye tank here that I need to take out and start cleaning up so that we can do something with them, like maybe give them away for Christmas presents for family and friends or something. Although at this point, I have to say most of my family and friends I've already plied them enough with enough cast iron that they have given me explicit instructions, no cast iron for Christmas. Apparently they have more than they know what to do with, which kind of makes things a little bit more difficult for me. But then I guess we may just, well, have to find other ways to get rid of these extra pieces in my collection. So anyway, yeah, tonight is we are going to be doing some cast iron cleaning and discussion. That's the other thing, though. I mean, as I said, I'm not a fan of just simply standing here and giving a lecture. This is cast iron. This is how you clean it. I am very much in favor of folks here having some fun on the chat, and please go ahead with those comments. You feel free to ask questions and answer questions, especially since I'm moving around here. And I may miss some of the questions that are asked here, and if folks can answer them, please do. And so that's why we need to get started, I guess, because, well, yeah, here we go again. I've shown this before. This year, I did not build a big lye tank, but I did recently put out a couple of nice sized buckets here, and they have been filled with lye. So it's time to start digging through them and seeing what is left to clean up. Also, for the record, you may remember a couple of weeks ago, I replaced these gloves. Because, yes, I did find out there was indeed a genuine leak in one of them, and that was why I was getting lye on my hand again and again. So, but we're safe now. Okay, I guess we could say a couple of things, basically. This is a Home Depot bucket. It is made of plastic, and I can tell you, and I cannot tell you the chemical makeup of plastic. I don't know it. You'd have to look it up. All I know is that these things make pretty good lye tanks. Lye, of course, is sodium hydroxide. In other words, it's drain cleaner. It's the stuff that you can buy at Home Depot, and I've seen it selling at Walmart now. They actually sell 100% lye drain cleaner, which is good. So, and quite a few people have done videos here on lye tanks. So I'm not going to just simply say, oh, yeah, you know what it is. Look it up. But the point is that, I mean, really, if you are into cleaning and restoring cast iron at all, a lye tank is really, really useful. Not only are these things pretty inexpensive to make, all things considered, the most expensive thing is probably the lye itself, but I love the fact that these things are just set it and forget it. you can just dump your lye into this, and then you dump your cast iron into the lye tank and let it sit there for weeks or months and pull it out whenever you feel like it. Such as tonight, for instance, where it seems like in this pan here, is this empty again? Oh, damn it. Could have sworn I had something in this one. My apologies. I'm a little lower than I thought. But not to worry because, boy, that thing's been sitting here all this time. I may actually have to fill it up and put something in for there. I'm sorry about that. But no, we are not completely empty. I promise you that. Because, in fact, over here, what have we got? Well, for one thing, this is one of those scores I made at Brimfield. I believe I showed this one after I made it, and that was the, let's do this right, the Lodge 1960s made in USA #5. And I picked this one up specifically because I actually needed this particular marking here in my collection. I actually don't have one. I had been meaning on doing a video on Lodge cast iron, and I realize now I've got my work cut out for me because it seems like there are a lot of experts on Lodge cast iron on the internet these days, and they can easily correct pretty much any mistake that I or anyone may make. So, however, we've started out here where, as I said, we got ourselves a nice #5 Lodge. It's in decent condition, and in fact, while I said that this is could be a 1960s Lodge, this thing could actually date as late as the 1980s, because it seems that Lodge was using these patterns for a long time. It's like when they switched to their other designs, they did not completely phase out their earlier designs. It took a long time, maybe years, before the other patterns stopped being used. So it was not like they stopped using this and then started using the egg logo, as they call it, when they started putting their logos on the pans. They were still making these at the same time as well. So anyway, as I said, this has been soaking in the lye, so that's a start, which means now we get to do something exciting here. Oh, really? Okay, I better. That's why my cord is a little tangled up. Sorry about that. There we go. And then from there, be careful, Mobley. I do not want you getting near this stuff. And then from there, that means now, of course, all we got to do is simply do a little bit of quick cleaning here. With probably my favorite cleaner, and that, of course, would be Barkeeper's Friend. Let's do that right. Barkeeper's Friend. I mean, besides the fact that this stuff is really inexpensive, you know, you can get it at pretty much any decent supermarket or Wally World or what have you for like about $2 a can or less. Let me move the microphone a little closer. In fact, you can get this stuff for $2 a can or so, depending on where you get it. It is an excellent rust remover for cast iron, so that's one reason why I love using it when cleaning up cast iron like this. So let's get this out of the way. And that's what I mean. That sure didn't take long at all, did it? Be sure to get the handle while we're at it. And all I'm trying to do is get this good enough so that I can give it a quick coating of grease or Crisco. But anyway, Barkeeper's Friend, as I found out, it actually contains a very weak acid, which is one reason why it's so great at removing rust. Very, very weak. I mean, yeah, I'm sure if you made some kind of a bath of that stuff, it could probably damage cast iron. But just for doing a quick scrub like this, it is fantastic. And besides, think again with our chemistry. I mean, you mix an acid with a base, and lye is a base, and there you go. So that's one reason why this stuff is good as well for using with a lye tank. It does a great job neutralizing the lye. There we go. So far, so good. And with that done, one other thing. Maybe this might not be necessary after all that, but I throw in a little bit of dish soap as well. The main reason is that if there's any other residue that we want to scrub off, since of course dish soap is really more than anything else a degreaser, and so that's why it's good for removing residue like that. I mean, dish soap does not contain lye anymore. Back in the old days, like maybe 1800s to the early 1900s or so, soap did contain lye, but they stopped putting that in a regular soap, and especially dish soap, a long time ago. On the other hand, of course, the degreasers in modern day dish soap still work pretty darn good. So, without further ado, this did not take long because this one here really was not especially dirty. I mean, this is not one of those ones that was so crusted with grit that that I would have had to have left this thing in the tank for months or more. And there have been a couple of those, and those are actually fun to find. Those things are like hidden buried treasures because it's really hard to tell what you're going to find underneath them. I found a couple of them that that when cleaned up were really great. Found one of those at a flea market for $5, for instance, and it turned out to be a nice BSR Red Mountain. So we're off to a decent start here. That's step number one. That means now, gotta quickly pull out some, just give it a quick dry here. All I'm doing is a quick dry. It doesn't have to be bone dry, just dry enough so that I can, again, give this thing a coating of grease and then heat it up in the oven for its first seasoning. And the initial heating up as well should dissolve or evaporate, rather, any water or moisture that's still on the surface of the pan and in the pores and the like. So that's why I'm not worried at all about that. Okay, so that means now we will just quickly move over. And grab my rag, which I always keep a little bit of Crisco on. This first step here, for the record, is not actually going to be seasoning the pan. What I'm doing at first is giving it a coating so as to block out oxidation, so that it doesn't develop flash rust. That's why you can lay this first coating on nice and thick, because this is not going to be it can be the base for the actual seasoning of the pan, but we can actually wipe it off before we apply any actual seasoning to it. So, as I said, this is more to prevent rust than anything else. So we'll get this in especially this side here. And then from there, we will get on with it. But anyway, with the lye tank, as I said, usually I build my lye tank in the spring. I was late this year because I had been determined to move, and regrettably, the opportunity did not come up, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say. I've been trying to find the right apartment, not just any decent apartment, but I've been trying to find the right apartment and have not done so yet, unfortunately. So I'm likely going to be stuck here, at least for the winter. But I do intend to upgrade to a better apartment, preferably one with a gas stove. That's one reason why I've been sticking around here, unfortunately, because I would really like to have a nice long-term place with the facilities to do some real serious cooking, especially, as I said, on a gas stove. But until then, well, we just get to stay here and play with the cats and play with my toys. Hope you're hearing this okay, because I can see the mic is a little further away than I would like. Anyway, this is our first pan. So now from here, let's stick this in the oven for the first here. Anyway, so that, I could have sworn I had another one in that other lye bucket. I'm trying to remember when I took that out. Oh well. No, don't worry. I know nothing's been stolen. I went through that one a little earlier. So, but anyway, that is the very basic and easy procedure that, as you can see, pretty much anyone can do. Papa Dan, about the same. Good days and bad days. Can't see smaller things such as people features. But I do hope you're recovering. So, Papa Dan, what kind of scrubber did you use? Well, just now, all I used was some simple steel wool. You know, the kind that they sell at the dollar store these days in packs of these 3 bundles of steel wool for, or sometimes 2 for $1. So it's your basic stainless steel wool, not copper. Copper can actually stain cast iron, so do not use copper as a scrubber. But yeah, I am really doing this on the cheap, as you can see. This really did not cost very much. As I said, that was just regular. That was just regular steel wool. These are buckets from Lowe's and Home Depot. The lye you can get now, you can get it for at Walmart for like $5 or so for a 1 pound container, or you can still go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get it at a 2 pound container for about $15. So yeah, there is a difference there. That's for sure. You got a lot more house for the money in New Bedford. Something to think about. Yeah, I know. I've been to New Bedford. Of course, unfortunately, that's something I would commute to my workplace. So, on the other hand, New Bedford has a couple of really nice antique places. Have I frozen up? Okay, hold on. Have I frozen up? Okay, I guess I need a yes or no here. Jeff Colasar, prayers for you, Papa Dan. Have I frozen up, folks? Can you see and can you see me? Papa Dan says I've frozen up, and I need a confirmation of that. Because I want to be sure. Okay, and so Michael Tanner says all good. Okay, that's good. That's good. Sorry, Papa Dan. I'm sorry about the trouble, but regrettably, Papa Dan, I'm sorry to say, it sounds like it might be your connection. Regrettably. You may have to consider doing a restart. I'm sorry to say. My condolences for your, again for your vision and also for this. But nonetheless, I guess all we can do is continue at this point. But yeah, what can we say? It's like, besides, anyway, cast iron care and maintenance. While a lye tank is not something that everybody you has, it is still so easy. It's pretty much a step up from the first basics of rust removal. And the first basics of rust removal, of course, are simply barkeeper's friend and steel wool. Then from there, you go to the you go to the oven cleaner and the trash bag, and then after that, you move up here to a lye tank. The thing, of course, is that even today on the internet, there's this stupid chemical phobia going around. And when I say stupid chemical phobia, let me clarify that. Yes, this stuff here, lye, can be dangerous. There is really no question about that. You must be very careful working with lye. It can indeed burn you. It can damage your skin, and if you and never use it to clean aluminum, because it can permanently damage aluminum, not to mention producing some poisonous fumes like that. So I'm not saying that this stuff is harmless. You don't want to drink it. But on the other hand, as far as chemicals go, in the long term, lye is actually, when handled carefully, lye can be reasonably safe. You want to keep kids and pets and cats away from it, but as long as you know what you're doing and you take your time, you be careful, again, lye is safe. On the other hand, when I'm talking about the stupid chemical phobia, I'm talking about those idiotic memes and messages being posted all over the place. Basically, anything at all with the deadly word chemicals is bad for you. It gives you cancer. You're gonna give birth to a 5-headed baby or something because you're using chemicals to clean your cast iron here. No. I could get into that, but that's really not the point. The point is that I don't have a lot of respect for those stupid things, largely for one reason. They are out to scare you, and above all else, they do not Back up those claims with any evidence. That's really the key thing. Ask for evidence. Having said that, let's see here. Okay. Sort of like all that lead in Asian iron. Well, yeah, in a way you could say that. Of course, there are political reasons, as you know, why a lot of people are not fond of Asian cast iron. And that's yet another subject that I'm not going to get into right now. Rather, I think we should probably pull out something interesting here, something that's been sitting here in here since I found it at Brimfield. And this would be, or at least I hope it is, because I haven't found it anywhere else. Therefore, it must be in here. Oh, no, that's not it either. Okay, that's interesting. Am I missing something? Let me check in here again. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may actually have to look for it because that Turk headpan, the one that I put the picture of it, seems to be. Oh, I don't want to panic here. Let's see. No, I'm not hearing anything. Instead, all I have here is a Wagner square skillet. How about that? Okay. I'm still a little curious as to what's going on. Nonetheless, this was an interesting one in that this I actually found a couple of weeks ago at a flea market for $5. And before I'm saying anything else, let's get this thing cleaned up, shall we? I'm still, though I am curious. I mean, trying to start racking my brain here because I'm positive I put that thing in the lye all this time. Wait, or is it maybe in the other tank? I may actually. Okay, well, one thing at a time. Right now, let's get on with this. Because once this thing comes out of the lye, right about now, that grit should not be difficult to scrub off. And as a matter of fact, it's not. I'm sorry, matter of fact, it's no difficulty at all here. There we go. That wasn't hard at all. Let's put some water on. There we go. Much better. Much better indeed. That came right off. Wonder if I can get a close-up of that. Nice. Alright, I think I may have made a bit of a mistake. I realized I left one last container outside, and it's gotta be there. Because it's not here, and no, I honestly don't think anybody stole from my live tank. That's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So, not sure if I heard that. Not sure if you folks heard that. I had my back turned. I left one last tank out there, and I completely forgot about it until this very moment. And I'm pretty sure that last mold is in there because I am positive no one stole from my live tank. That is utterly ridiculous, even in this town. However, for the moment, looks like we're not done yet. So, oops, I don't want to take these gloves off yet. Anyway, off to a decent start. Boy, interesting little marking on this one though, like stains or something. Looks like this one may have been hit on a gas stove for a while because it looks like you can see it's even burned right into the pan here, or at least still discolored. But nonetheless, there we go. We've got a 1960s unmarked Wagner square skillet, and I'm happy about that one. That one, in fact, I did not find in New Bedford, but I did find it a couple of weeks ago at the Raynham Flea Market, which is not too far from New Bedford. As the gentleman who pointed out New Bedford, you probably know about that flea market. That's one of the best flea markets here in this area, at least. I have actually been to better ones, but as far as flea markets go, that is pretty darn good. It's big, it has a lot of variety, and I found a lot of good stuff there, including cast iron. There was one vendor there a couple of weeks ago who had a bunch of stuff. Most of them at, well, expected high prices. He had one single Griswold there. I think it was like a Griswold, what do you call it? A deep fat fryer, in fact. You know, one of those really deep 2-quart saucepans. And he was selling that one, of course, because it had the Griswold logo. I think it had a price tag of something like, oh, I don't know, $80, $90 or something, because, you know, Griswold. Browsing there, and I came across this, and I showed it to him, and he said $5, because he looked for a logo on it, and it ain't no Griswold, so he didn't know what it was, so he'd sell it to me for $5, and I said, okay. And forgot to mention to him that I could see really from the design of this handle here that this was in fact a Wagner, because, well, that's how it goes when dealing with flea markets. Nonetheless, because of that, this is one I've been wanting to clean up so that it'll be ready to be given away as a Christmas present, I think. Not sure yet, but I'm still working on that. I've got a month yet to work out my Christmas list, so my Christmas gift list, that is. I mean, as far as getting stuff for Christmas, I'm not too worried about that. And maybe I better clarify that. That sounds too much like, I apologize for saying that. That sounds too much like, you know, how folks are trying to go for a pity or the like. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, you've seen my cast iron collection. I do not need more cast iron. And I really should not be getting things like this. It's only that, again, I'm using the excuse of preparing this as a Christmas present as to why I picked this up. Why? Because I found a great bargain, could not pass it up. And, well, there you go, which means that with any luck, I will be giving this thing away for Christmas. After all, I've said enough times as well, I do not want to be a hoarder, and I mean it. So, okay, let's turn our perspective over again. Get back over here again. Then after this, I'm going to have to figure out how to keep you entertained while I go quickly looking for that other lye tank. And I very much apologize for that. I can't believe I completely forgot I had another tank out there. All right. Nonetheless, this one here, I better get coated right away because it looks like this could develop some flash rust if I'm not careful. One thing I've noticed, funny thing is that despite how Wagner is so popular, almost on the line with Griswold, and there's no denying that Wagners are great cookers, I do have some questions about the quality of the iron they used in some instances. I mean, quite a few Wagners do seem to have turned into spinners over time, for starters, not to mention how quickly this thing is developing flash rust. So, excuse me about getting in front of the camera like that. So, I've got to coat this thing as fast as possible here. There we go. Because even as I'm talking, you can see the discoloration of flash rust starting to form. So I really can't waste my time here. Well, it's not wasting my time, but what I mean is that I have to be quick. Anyway, got to get into those corners. That's the other thing about these square skillets. They're not as easy to clean as your regular round skillets. However, people like these, especially for things like making brownies. I mean, a square skillet may very well be the most popular brownie maker around. And let me, once again, I got to move this over here. There we go. Let's get that other side quickly. There we go. And actually, that stain seems to be covered up very nicely only by this thin layer. So I think we're doing good. After this thing is seasoned, um, might be a little bit of discoloration, but again, that's hardly anything to worry about. I'm sure if I had bothered setting up an e-tank this year, I probably would have been able to give that the electrolysis treatment, but this is definitely going to be good enough. Oh, but however, you know what I said about Wagner's being spinners? This one is not. So that does make this something special. I'm actually quite happy to have a Wagner that for once is not a spinner. Almost done here. And we'll get this in the oven. Then I'm regretting to say, I think even as much as I hate to want to leave some, uh, have dead air on here, I think that may have to happen because I've got to go and quickly dig out that last tank. That should only take a couple of minutes though. Nonetheless, here is number 2 that we will then put in the oven. We'll answer some comments and the like before I get around to do. Ooh, what? Yeah, nice. Why don't I? Before I get around to doing that. So we're off to a pretty good start here because it means that these 2 tanks here are empty. So, however, while we're waiting, let's see how things are going right now. Oh. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, I do not want to stand in the middle of all this liquid. Okay. Thank you once again for waiting here. Put trouble in front of the camera. Yeah, that's about right. He'll keep us entertained. I'll bet he will. Actually, I'll bet he'll run away and start chasing Jamie. So, the best process, sometimes rust is hidden under seasoning. Yes, William Hurt. I got a BSR square skillet too. Do people put pans in the lye tank and then after out of lye and e-tank? Yes, as he mentioned already. Yes, that's what about the best thing because lye is not a rust remover. What lye does is it dissolves organic material, which is one reason why it does not react with cast iron, and that's one reason why it is absolutely safe to use cast iron in lye and leave it in there for months and months until all of the gunk is completely dissolved off of it. However, as I said, it's not a rust remover, meaning that if it develops rust, the lye isn't going to do anything. So yes, after that, you take it out of the lye tank, and yes, you can do an e-tank because an e-tank is probably the best rust remover around, as well as probably the best gunk remover around too. While it can take months for a pan to completely clean up in the lye, an e-tank can do that in a matter of days or less. So, on the other hand, of course, an e-tank is not perfect as well. Number one, it can run up your electric bill. So you have to consider that. Not to mention, there are parts in an e-tank that could wear out or even short out if you're not careful. So every method we use here has advantages and disadvantages. So probably what he said, the lye tank plus the e-tank are probably the best way to do it. So, and as C. Father says, that's all I would use is that square skillet. It's so perfect for cooking anything when you think about it. More surface area can make square things with it. Oh, yeah, definitely. So if you want things with corners, then yes, square skillet is really the way to go. No question about that. Mental health matters. You can leave cast iron in lye for months. Nothing will happen to the iron. Yeah, basically forever won't affect the metal. Yes, exactly. Now that Seekonk is over for the season, maybe I'll run into you at Raynham. Hope. Okay, no, I won't even finish that. Anyway, Louis Mayer, I have worse health rust with warm worth. Oh, I have worse flash rust with warm water versus cold water, and I use cold water now. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that as well. That actually cold water tends to not exactly resist, but flash rust seems to happen a little slower when you use it with cold water. On the other hand, because we're getting into this cold winter weather, the lye itself becomes less effective. It's not like it's wearing out or anything. Once it gets warm again next spring, we'll be able to use it just fine. However, the cold weather does affect the what's the word? Efficacy, the efficiency. I can't pronounce it. Anyway, the effectiveness of the lye. So, I mean, while I could actually put a pan in this lye tank and just literally leave it out all winter, and it should be done by next spring, it will be much more effective when spring starts again and when the temperature starts going up again. Shadow Walker XM, and with an E-tank, you have to be careful in enclosed spaces as the gas it gives off can be explosive in high concentrations. Yes, that's hydrogen. That's true. It's true though that yes, there is a risk of explosion, or at least flammable, or at least flame from using it from collecting from hydrogen collecting indoors. It's not easy, and I haven't heard of any instances where it's happened, thank goodness. But we certainly don't want to start it. I know once, out of curiosity, I just on the out, I left. Yeah, I always used my E tank on the outside. Out of curiosity, I took a lighter and put it up against the against the E tank, and I did not get anything. Meaning that just the what's the word? The circulation of it being outside, combined with the fact that it really was not giving off a lot of hydrogen, or not in high concentrations. It wasn't enough to set it on fire outside. So that's good. But I am not telling you to do it inside. No, I am going to go with the regular advice here. Do not use the E-tank inside in areas where there could be concentrations of hydrogen. That is not a good thing. All chemical reactions work faster at higher temperatures, including rust. Well, that's certainly interesting. And with an E-tank, no, we said that part already. Anyway, so as I mentioned, I am going to unfortunately have to put this on hold for a couple of minutes. I do very much apologize. One last thing. That means of course, that is pretty much just par for the course here for this channel, as you know. Yeah, I call this Cast Iron Chaos for a reason. I mean, I meant that when I said Cast Iron Chaos is me, and it is about me, yes. But yeah, the chaos certainly does seem to happen every week, doesn't it? Something unexpected always happens. So, with that, I think I will turn the camera view to here. I'm sure you'll probably like this. And I will be back as fast as possible. I do promise. I'm going to try to be just a couple of minutes. Thank you very much for your patience, everyone. All right. Actually, I'm going to have to move this aside this way. There we go. I goofed. I'll be right back. Are the cats in there? What? All right. You got to be careful then. Fact. Ugh. Forgot my gloves. My bad. Nobody around here knows she's not. Uh, oh, Jamie, couple people asking for you. Neighbors from out front. She's actually not feeling well, and I'm not just saying that. She has a cold. Yeah, I'm not. Hold on.
Hold on a second.
Wait 1 second. No, that's okay. I got it. There we go. I forgot one. There we go. Gotta be careful. Mother. There. Well, that was fun. Okay, yeah, I actually forgot one of the tanks. Boy, that was so smart of me, wasn't it? And now, where did I put that mouse? There it is. Okay, having said that, with my confidence on fixing up a pan, I never would have purchased this Benjamin and Medwin. Oh, nice. Yeah. Benjamin and Medwin, yes, it is Asian made, but there's nothing wrong with it at all. I actually like the circular design at the bottom. Whew. Sorry, I'm a little winded. I actually like the circular design that looks like a vinyl record on the bottom of a Benjamin and Medwin skillet. I think it's actually quite attractive. Yeah, it was about 1980s or so. In the 1990s, that same designer, or maybe the same manufacturer, moved to Martha Stewart, and then produced pans with that underside that said MSE, Martha Stewart every day. I think it may have continued into the 2000s, but it may have been discontinued since then. Okay, soon it'll be time for work to call, says one pan man as well. Granny G, it's not my vacation, one of my avocations. Wagner aluminum Dutch oven with lid. Is $60 too much? In good shape? Well, hard to say. If we're talking about those very common Wagner aluminum Dutch ovens, like the one that I have, in fact, I might actually say, depending on your environment where you are, $60 may be too high. I've seen them for as low as 20 to sometimes even $15 or so. On the other hand, I paid $40 for mine at Brimfield because, well, number one, I actually needed it. I guess that's really the most thing. Either way, it may not be too much. Um, One thing I will say though is that, again, the aluminum Dutch oven is probably the best water boiler I think I've ever used. So it's really great for making pasta and soups and the like there. So yeah, my mom would kill me if I had all that cast iron. Well, that's the result I get of being a guy living on my own with a hobby and nobody to say, no, you can't do that. Yeah, oh yeah, my roommate encourages it. um, which is also why I'm trying to give myself a rule not to be a hoarder, as I said. And I really am determined, once these things are cleaned up, I really am determined to get rid of them, maybe give them away as Christmas presents, for instance. So mine is just black and shiny. Well, black and shiny is really good, and that's what I'm trying to do in my pans as well. So I used to make bottle rockets with my hydrogen generators. And that, I think, gets us back to the beginning. Does the lye tank freeze solid in the winter? I have found that you can get a layer of ice on the top because, after all, it's mostly water. The lye does not prevent the water from freezing, unfortunately. So, but on the other hand, again, it's not like it becomes diluted. I've kept my lye tanks for a couple of years and more, and I have had to, let them thaw out during the spring. At which point, then, after I have, after I've, after they're thawed off, I've just simply taken another container of lye and put it in to help increase its efficiency. Don't know if efficacy is the right word for it, but either way, to improve its effectiveness, and it has worked again and again and again. Can't see you, but that bucket must have been heavy. Yeah, okay. Now, now that I'm feeling a little less winded, let's take a look and let's continue what this video is about, shall we? Thank you for waiting, everybody. And here is the last one. Okay, this is why I am confident. No, they did not steal from those other lye buckets. I had that one out there, and I can't believe I just plain plumb forgot about it. So, let's dig into this last one. See what we have. Gloves again. And it's collected a little bit of grit on top. Well, it's not like I'm going to cook in this thing. Come on. What am I doing wrong now? Okay. So much for that. Hefty, huh? All right. Why is this? There we go at last. And lo and behold, more lye. However, I do feel things in this lye. So yes, it was not stolen. In fact, here it is. After all this time, let's drain some of this out. Boy, this actually has picked up some rust. This is going to require some cleaning up. No question about that. All right. Nonetheless, there we are. What we have here is a gate marked Turk head pan. So let's see what happens if we give this one just a good scrubbing with Barkeeper's Friend. I hope that takes care of it. There we go. And once we do that, let's get a close-up here so that you folks can see my dirty, dirty pan. This is not a lodge pan, because lodge pans in those days, let me get the microphone a little closer. When in its earliest days, Lodge did make some Turk head pans like this, but the handle had more of an M type shape with a little, with a little angle or something in there. So that's how I know this is not a Lodge. As a result, I don't know if I could ever identify this thing, because I looked for manufacturer marks on it and I really did not see any. I did see a gate mark on the back, though. In fact, a dual gate mark. So, as I hope this stuff isn't running out. There we go. That's a little better. So all I know, and probably all I will ever know, is that this is a nice 19th century Turk head pan. And I'm looking forward to cleaning this up right now and using it as soon as possible. This I bought from the dealers at Brimfield, who I mentioned in my latest Brimfield video. There was this mom and pop vendor who had a table full of cast iron of all kinds, and they were selling it at reasonable prices. It's reasonable for Brimfield anyway. I mean, after all, as I said, I ended up paying $30 for this, largely because they were such a nice couple. They were very friendly, easy to get along with. I liked talking with them, and as such, I very much wanted to give them some business. I ended up getting this as a result. Yeah, actually, it looks like this is cleaning up pretty good. I think this is just grit or maybe surface rust at most on the top. It does not seem to be dug in, or what do you call it? Layered rust. The kind that really seems like it can ruin a pan or pit it. This all seems to be entirely on the surface. So that's good. This is going to require some more scrubbing, though. This is going to be one of those jobs I could see. You know how some people say, oh man, I am never cleaning one of these again. I'm hoping this does not turn out to be like that, but it looks like, oh man, especially with this, I think I should prepare for it. Especially since on top of everything else, I think my Barkeeper's Friend is running low. Ugh. Boy, I did not prepare as well for this live as I thought. Well, I'm getting enough at least. But yeah, that's the fun thing as well. Anybody who has had to clean, like, say, a cast iron muffin pan or a cornbread pan, you know how much fun those things are to clean? Yeah, exactly. What? Where's here? Yes. Okay, okay. Well, yeah, only a few, the ones that are just a few drops or something. Oh, no, I understand completely, yes. But what I mean is, like, fortunately, they're not going to stain or anything. It should wash up. Right, and I don't blame you at all. So, yeah. Well, yeah, there is that, unfortunately. Yeah, it's hard to say whether or not, that stuff we got is already having an effect, but she has definitely been in a more playful mood today, which is good. No, I haven't. You think so? Okay. Yeah, it seems like of my two cats, as I mentioned, Miss Mobley, the one who is a little more reserved, a lot more reserved. She has recently developed an anxiety problem. You know, the kind where, or it might be an allergy. Okay, but basically, she has started grooming herself to the point where she has unfortunately removed a fair amount of the fur from her own back legs. Her top coat, not the undercoat. And we have looked and examined her for any signs of things like fleas or mites, and we have not seen anything like that. Her skin does not seem to be irritated. There's no rash, no scars, no signs of any parasites or anything like that. On the other hand, we've also seen how this has kind of encouraged her big brother Trouble, unfortunately, to start pushing her around and pick on her. So we've had to take some steps to protect her for that. Unfortunately, that's just how cats are, I'm sorry to say. And yeah, so we have to do what we can about that. Um, yeah, among other things, I looked into the possibility, well, especially because we thought it might be anxiety, I looked into the possibility of getting something that can help, calm down nervous cats. And yeah, and I do not want to drug her, no. You know how they sell those little pills and things that basically contain CBD and other kinds of stuff like that. Yeah, and I did not want to do that. So instead, I ended up, yeah, last night, in fact, I was at PetSmart and I came across this thing, a diffuser. Basically, it's like a cat potpourri. It's a little liquid thing that you plug into an electric socket, and then and it contains a chemical compound with pheromones, cat pheromones, and it's designed to calm just that, to make the cats feel more at ease and calm them down. It can take several, and I looked this thing up, and there are some good reviews of it, so I figured it would be enough to take a chance on it. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
She's
So
funny because she's a medium hair cat, so she's not short hair, she's not long hair. So she's like kind of fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
But now she has this like fluffy body, but these little skinny, scrawny, naked legs
Yeah.
sticking out from underneath. But her feet, the bottom of her feet still have fur. So it's just
Yeah.
she looks silly.
Yeah. Well, not just silly. I mean, we feel bad for her.
I feel terrible. But when she grows, she gets into it a little too deep. You can tell it's like it's a habit. She's habitual woman.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, as I said, we got this stuff that's a diffuser that releases pheromones in the hope that it helps to just that calm her and Trouble, to calm the cats down and make them, I guess, make her feel a little more at ease and hopefully less likely to start, to keep doing that. Now, as I said, I looked online for reviews of this thing, and there were some reviews that were pretty good, and they did not look like obvious planted or paid for reviews. So, okay, I did my best to keep an eye on them.
Yeah, well, they're sneaky.
Oh, they are, yes. Okay. Anyway. So, as I said, I was, essentially, we figured we'd give this a try. We just plugged it in last night. All you have to do is set it and forget it. They're both there? But no sign of Mowgli? Okay. Oh, okay, good. They're both there. Okay. Anyway, just a little bit more and then I'll be done talking about the cats. This thing here is supposed to take several days to have an effect. So hopefully by next week we'll at least see if Mowgli is grooming herself as much. So I'm sure there are other folks who have had issues like this with their cats. I'm very much open for advice on it. And obviously we want to do everything we can to make our babies better. So, all right, I think this thing's still got some residual rust on it, unfortunately. So yeah, this is definitely a case where, oh man, is this going to be a pain to clean or what? I'll try this one more time, I guess. Damn it. I'm mad at myself because I did not stock up on the barkeeper's friend. I honestly thought I had more of the stuff. Now I'm miffed. Well, all right, little by little, we're getting it in. Okay. No comment. Anyway, back to this, I guess. As I said, this is a 19th century gate-marked Turk head pan, and I have not seen any sign at all of a manufacturer's mark on it. So, regrettably, this is pretty much an unknown pan, and I doubt I'm ever going to identify it. But identify it or not, I am also looking forward to making some stuff with this. Some fancy cupcakes, for instance, or cookies. And I'm hoping to have this done so that we'll be able to make some for Christmas, because that's kind of like going to be our agenda in a couple of weeks. Tonight, as I said, I have been cleaning out the lye tank. I very much appreciate that. I've got a general plan so that next week we'll be having another giveaway. And that, whoops, what did I say? Giveaway? Well, okay. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. But anyway, after next week, 2 weeks from now, my plan is we're going to be doing some Christmas cooked baking, because we've got all of these John Wright baking molds sitting around waiting to be used. This is the season for it. We are going to get some use out of those. That I'm hoping we'll be doing 2 weeks from tonight on Cast Iron Live. So at least I'm getting something of an agenda of what this month is going to be. I will also say next week we plan on making some fruitcake. Oh yeah, fruitcake. Oh no, not fruitcake. Well, I am very proud of my fruitcake. I have a fruitcake recipe that is designed for people who don't like fruitcake. And the best I could say is that, as I said, I'm quite proud of it. Oh, this is looking much better now. Much better indeed. A little bit on this side, and I think I'll be ready to coat it, especially since we're not going to be putting any food on this side of the pan. In fact, I think now, whatever. In fact, now I can just throw on a little bit more dish soap. One thing after another. Throw on a little bit more dish soap. There we go. But yeah, people who have cleaned out, like, say, muffin pans and cake pans and the like, getting between these little edges and grooves and corners is probably the type of thing that almost makes you want to give up this hobby. Almost. Of course, on the other hand, when you finally get them clean, it's definitely worth the effort. So there is that. All right. There we go. That's looking much better now. Dish soap is a pretty good remover of regular everyday flash rust as well. All right, but most importantly, I want to be sure that this cleaned off nice and well. There we go. Anyway, we've got a couple more pans here that are ready for the oven. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this one. All right, I think we're good, which means, don't want to drop it. Let's get this thing dried off. And then let's get it greased. And now I'm going to have room for all of this. There we go. There's a starter. Yeah, here's the diffuser. I'll come back to that in a moment. So, if you want an example of what a professional YouTube channel is like, go somewhere else. This, I mean, as you can see, I have, yeah. This is definitely a channel of chaos because, despite my preparations, something always happens. Well, so be it. And that, of course, is why, no kidding aside, no sarcasm intended, again, I very much appreciate everybody who takes the time to actually drop by here each week. So I'm hoping I'm doing something right because, as I've said before as well, this is all a lot of fun. I'm enjoying myself with this, and I can only hope it's entertaining to you folks as well. Once I get this thing greased down, then I'll be able to actually take some time to show this up on camera here. But as you know, right now we're in a race against time. Race against flash rust. That's why I've got to do this as fast as I can. Fortunately, again, as I said, the bottom of this pan, we're not going to be cooking any food on it. That's why I'm a little less concerned here and more concerned about just getting on a good coating to prevent any real rust from happening. And one more. Also, once again, after this thing is greased, it is going to go into the oven for a while to dry off, so that the most of the moisture can evaporate, whereas the grease itself, while still melted, should remain and give it the coating we are looking for. Come on. There we go. Takes care of that. As I said, no food is going to be going on this side. So, and once again, this is why I appreciate you folks having conversations here, because while I'm just talking and talking and talking, unfortunately, I have to concentrate on this, and I can only come to your comments every few minutes or so, which is what I want to do as soon as I get this all greased up and essentially safe from additional flash rust. Well, this really hasn't taken very long. Besides, once this thing is all seasoned up, we'll be good. And I definitely will be showing you folks what it looks like after it's been seasoned in the oven. Moments like this, actually, are glad why I'm not giving up this hobby. Little by little by little. Oh, what fun. In fact, I'm actually thinking now, instead of this, what I should have used would be liquid vegetable oil. Which maybe I should. Where is that? Do I have some available right in front of me, as I hope I do? Not olive oil, no. Well, that's one thing. This is as good as any, I guess. Cooking spray, canola cooking spray to be precise. You folks are getting that. There we go, because, yeah, I need to get this into all of those nooks and crannies, as those muffin commercials say. And because that's really the hardest part. And I can only hope, again, that once this is all completely seasoned, it will stay that way. And then I won't have to worry about it again. My hope is now that once it's in the oven, it will melt. Now back to this side, which fortunately is still looking pretty good. All right. This side is a little easier, thank goodness, because these crevices and cracks, and not cracks, crevices and shapes and angles are at least facing in the right direction. Yeah, boy, this is fun. Oh, what fun. Oh, what fun it is to spray. Some aerosol in a pan or in a can. All right. And, oh yeah, I knew this was going to be fun, and boy, I was not mistaken. But even so, I'd say we are not doing too badly here. Almost done, promise. Then I'll be able to spend a few minutes showing this thing off at last. Besides, if this was not live, you would not be seeing this. You know how those videos on the seasoning cast iron, it's like it always takes, I don't know, they maybe show about 30 seconds at most of this step, whereas, as you know all too well, this is the fun part. Well, largely because if I'm not doing it right, this is also the most boring part. And that's not fun. That's one reason why I'm still talking and talking and talking, because I'm trying to make this as interesting as possible for you. All right, I think I better do this again. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. There we go. We'll get it right eventually. I will repeat, this is not actually seasoning yet. My main purpose here is to get a coating on every bit of the surface to prevent any further flash rust. So maybe I may not even have to rub this in. That would be nice. Even so, almost done. All right. Okay. Good enough for now. I'm still going to continue. But what I do want to do again is give you folks a close-up of a 19th century Turk head baking pan. The reason why they call it a Turk head baking pan is because, it does actually, the design of this does actually look like helmets that were worn by Middle Eastern warriors, like Turks, for instance, during the olden days. I really inquired as to whether there's any kind of a racist connotation to calling it a Turk's head pan. Apparently there is not, thank goodness. I'm sure some folks could probably read it in, but I am not interested in that because, again, I'm not interested in politics. I just want to do this in a manner that should hopefully, not offend anyone. Even though on the internet, that's impossible. It's impossible not to offend anyone on the internet. There's this famous little cartoon caption that I repost once in a while, the one where you show a guy posting a video saying, a happy video, kitten eats pancakes. Then a little while later, there are 256 comments on it. What did the comments say? the Holocaust is a lie, 911 truth, you get the idea, blah, 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 and other offensive, racist, misogynist, and other stuff like that. Yeah, it seems like those kind of comments do pollute every YouTube video if you're not careful. Oh, damn it, how the hell did I do that? By the way, I didn't even I completely forgot my microphone has been too far away. I'm very sorry about that. I really, really hope you folks have been able to hear me, and I can only apologize. It's like I looked up and I realized my microphone was still some distance away, but now I'm hoping you're much better. I really hope you folks have been able to hear what I've been saying, and most of all, I hope I haven't bored anyone. I do apologize. I feel like apologies are in order for that. Because, again, I'm doing my best to try to make it interesting. And it's, how can you make it interesting when this is a video of somebody cleaning up cleaning up an old rusty baking pan, which is basically just that. I'm rubbing an oily rag over it to prevent rust. Nonetheless, feel like at least we have accomplished something. I'm definitely gonna have to look over the live later and see how terrible the audio quality of the last few minutes has been. Oh, so sorry about that, folks. But even though this is kind of sticky right now, that's why it is about to go into the oven for seasoning. Now, as I mentioned before, this is in fact a gate mark pan, although the gate mark is actually a little hard to see. I could see one is here and one is here, and that's about it. There are absolutely no other markings at all. There's no manufacturer initial or mark or anything like that. So it is practically impossible to identify who made this, unfortunately. I will say again, this was definitely not made by Lodge. Also, unfortunately, I would have loved a vintage Lodge like this, but I'm enjoying having a vintage pan like this, period. All right, having said all that, I think it's finally time to get down to a couple of comments. And my apologies again. Oh, we could hear fine, says Michael Tanner. Thank you very much. I'm very glad to hear that. I feel much better here that I wasn't wasting your time. So, okay. Anyway, thank you so much. See farther. After I wash my perfect skillet, I dry it on the burner and wipe it with some Crisco and just admire it. Oh, and I don't blame you at all. Yeah, I've tended to do that as well. So, Peg Tooth, well, thank you very much for the compliment, and that's all I'll say about that. I used to Donut 23 Stewart. I have used an artist paintbrush to get in the crevices, just a cheap one. That's actually a pretty good idea. Yes, don't forget the butter. Now that, oh yeah, Terry Sinchef. Let's talk about me. And now that I can't read these, yeah, why not? Well, hey, if it keeps this channel interesting, the best I could say is go ahead. So. Something more refined than meat muffins for that beautiful mold. Yeah, no, while I could make little tiny little meat loaves in this, I'm more interested in using it for some baking. So, Pawpaw Dan, I love to go to auctions. William, you would fit in very well with a local auction crowd. Any Christmas fluted cakes in the near future? Yes, as a matter of fact, we've got one coming up when we make some fruitcake next week. So yeah, that is the general plan there for, as I said, for the next couple of weeks. Next week is going to be fruitcake. Then the week after that, we are going to be doing some probably cookies, and we get to play with some of those John Wright molds that everybody says, oh, they look beautiful. Yet so many people, I never see them being used. Not you folks, just in general. So. Maybe that's why John Wrights have never sold for very much. Anything else in the lie tank? Believe it or not, and I'm a little surprised as well, we are actually empty at this point. I was expecting a couple of other pieces, but as it turns out, I've got 3. Oh yeah, better do the most important thing right now and get this in the oven so that we can season this tonight. this right. I even remember to, oh yeah, let me show you that. I even remember to line my oven with foil tonight, so that the drippings don't drip to the bottom of the oven and stain it some more. So, hey, that would make interesting popovers. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. I mean, Dutch babies in a pan of this size. So, okay, but nonetheless, as I said, this is, well, again, was has been pretty much a summary of one of the things that everybody has to do at one time or another when cleaning out, when not taking care of cast iron, and that, of course, is again, um, everybody who deals with everybody who uses cast iron, you have to deal with rust at some point, whether you have a single modern day pan or whether you've got a big collection of old and new pans. Rust will happen eventually, and so it's something we all deal with. Fortunately, the vast majority of the rust we get in everyday use is very easy to clean up. I mean, just cleaning up rust in itself is one reason why people say things like, "Oh, cast iron is hard to take care of," when really that couldn't be further from the truth. Well, maybe it could. Yes, there are easier things to take care of, but it is definitely worth it with the results you get. I mean, after all, I'm going to be doing some interesting baking in these pans. There's no question about that. And finally, I think I will make the official announcement, as kind of hinted about as I hinted earlier. There we go. As I hinted at earlier this evening. We have a cast iron giveaway next week, folks. Next week. And I want to do this next week so that I can have that pan out there in time for Christmas. I gave away the BSR pan in the hope that it would be there in time for Thanksgiving. As it turned out, Cooking with Bobby Joe said that she held her Thanksgiving early, so unfortunately it didn't arrive in time. But that's really just the way the schedule turned out. Nonetheless, if I ship it out next week, there should be enough time for it to arrive and be ready in time for you to use it for Christmas. And what am I doing? What is next week's giveaway going to be? It is going to be a cast iron bundt pan. Yes, I'm not kidding. It is going to be a cast iron fluted cake pan. And I better dig that out and show it to you right now. Give me 1 second, please. Let's see. Here it is. Clang, clang, clang. Clang, clang, clang.
Those are cast iron wind chimes.
Yes, they are. Cast iron wind chimes. And okay, here we are. Do you have anything special after washing pieces that are used only very seldom? It may be necessary to do some more seasoning in that case, but nonetheless, here it is. A cast iron fluted cake pan. Now you can tell from the very, very small handles that this is in fact vintage. And in fact, if you look on the bottom, there are a couple of very small sprue marks on the bottom as well. I've had this for several years, and it's got a very nice coating of seasoning on it already. You can literally use this right out of the box. My best guess was, initially I thought this was a vintage Wagner, and it's been pointed out just from the quality of the casting that folks think that this is in fact a recast based on a Wagner mold. But nonetheless, here it is. This is a cast iron fluted cake pan, and yes, there will be a giveaway next week, and the winner will win this cake pan. Why in the world am I giving away something as rare and valuable as a cast iron cake pan? Because I already have two more. You've seen them. We have
cast iron and Rubbermaid totes.
Yeah, we have cast iron and Rubbermaid totes. That's why. But actually, as you know, I have a Lodge fluted cake pan, the new one that they produced in 2018, and I love it. I love making cakes in that. I've made a couple of birthday cakes for Jamie in that, and we're going to be making a fruit cake in it next week. And as you also know and have seen recently on this channel, I was incredibly lucky at Brimfield and managed to score another cake pan, the one that they call the Monarch, which is shaped differently. And that's even more awesome because it means it's different. But that means now, because of that, I currently have 3 cake pans. And I honestly don't have a use for 3 cake pans. I've been really, up until I found the Monarch, I've been really trying to use any excuse that I can to have 2 cake pans, because how often do you make 2 cakes at a time? I guess the question is. Well, now I have a reason for it because they're different. So as a result, even though this pan here was a wonderful score, and I've had it for several years, I've gotten some great use out of it, yes, I will be giving it away next week. And okay, by the way, I will also say the secret word will not have anything at all to do with bacon. Okay, so that is going to be next week. Oh, can we see the Monarch, please? Yes, I'll bring out the Monarch, and then we're about ready to go. All right. Wow, this thing is thick. Man, I will say one thing about this. This thing is small, but this thing is heavy. This is really, really thick. This is a decent piece of cast iron, but nonetheless, here it is, as you asked. This is the Monarch, which I've already used to make a couple of cakes, and yeah, I'm very happy with it. So no, I do not have any intention to give this one away. Sorry. This was a once in a lifetime score, and I am very happy to have it and very happy to be using it. On the other hand, I've been very happy to use that other cake pan, and I'm certain that the winner of that cake pan will be happy to use it as well. So, and that's really one of the reasons why I'm giving it away. Okay, now having said that, let me very quickly. There we are. So anyway, that's next week. The week after that, we are going to be doing some baking in a few John Wright baking molds, because that's what they're here for. They are here for baking, and 'tis the season for it. This is only one of them. As you know, over the summer, I was lucky enough to acquire a couple of other John Wright molds, including ones like the Santa Claus sleigh cookie mold, the animal cracker mold. So yeah, I am definitely looking forward to doing some baking in a couple of weeks. So that is going to be 2 weeks from now. But anyway, that's what we do. So I appreciate everybody's patience tonight. As I said, yeah, I made preparations for that, and thanks especially to Jamie for laying out that that paper on the floor to catch the leak, the all of the lye that spilled. And yet, things still were unexpected, which I guess is just par for the course, which is why, again, I can only thank everybody so much for showing up here and for accepting things like that. I really appreciate everybody who does show up, like Jose Latios and Granny Graham, and especially Pegtooth and Bruno Dinez and Pawpaw Dan. And I'm really glad you're getting better. And William Hurt and all the regulars who show up, and especially all the new folks who show up. And again, that's really what I appreciate. I mean, besides the fact that it keeps this channel going, it also keeps this channel interesting. As I've said before, I have a lot of fun here on these live videos, and you folks are the reason why. And that's about all I can say, I think. The craftsman. Okay, yeah, Jamie says bye, but she's not feeling well, unfortunately. So she is the flu? Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. And in fact, she caught it from me. So the craftsman that made the sand mold to cast that deserve and are getting a years later great shout out. Yes, a very great shout out to the persons who made that monarch cake pan. Okay, having said all that, I think we are all set. Yeah, not patience, participation. Yes, thank you especially for your participation, everybody. But having said that, again, I think it's really time to call this an evening because I didn't think it would. I didn't think I'd actually manage to make this drag on for an hour and 25 minutes. But I think you should keep your Turk's head and bunt. Yeah, I definitely intend on keeping the Turk's head. Yes, and furthermore, I do have a large fluted cake pan that I have no intention of getting rid of. Main reason why I'm giving this one away is because it's an extra and I honestly do not have a regular use for it. So let's share the wealth. And that's going to be next week. And Jeff Collisart and Papa Dan both say, get well, Jamie. And so does William Hurt. Thank you. And having said that, I can only thank you, everybody, once again. And I guess I can only wish everybody a good evening as well. And as always, see you next Wednesday. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good evening. There we go.